close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Andre.
Okay, hello. Sorry, I had to
Hi.
get some stuff set up. Took a little longer than I wanted, but I got it all good to go. So, hello everyone. We're back. I know it's not Monday, but it's Tuesday, which is close enough. We are back with our Star Wars Bad Batch Season 3 theory. We're doing episodes 10 and 11 today.
Yep.
It's a double episode week. Double episode week, released last week. But I'm here with my co-host, Spartan.
Hello.
And before we even get started, I just want to say I was shocked by the special guest. I kind of was, but then, like, thinking about it, it kind of made sense for what was going on.
Yeah.
You know?
And folks, what Andre here was talking about last week, we talked about cameo featured in the trailer. And yes, we got that cameo revealed in episode 10.
Yeah, we nailed it.
Go ahead.
Right. We nailed it. But, so, episode, just kind of a little briefer. Episode 10 was an Emery episode, which actually was really shocking, to be honest.
Still upset.
Yes. I completely understand because like what Spartan was saying, like we talked about it like a little bit, and I think he even mentioned Emery as a character. She has some possibilities, especially when we saw with Omega. We saw that she kind of had, like, she cared, but I don't know if it's like really anything of it. It's just that she kind of cares. You tell she had feeling, even though like she's like, oh, I'm gonna do exactly what they want me to do. I'm not gonna question it or anything. She just does what she's supposed to do, but she cares a little bit. In this episode, Emery kind of like she gets put on, or she begs Hemlock is like, hey, I've been with you, let me do more. Okay, Hemlock's like, fine, I'll let you do more. So she gets put on Project Necromancer, which is heavily guarded, heavily secretive. Pretty much she goes into this room, or this closed-off room guarded by commando droids, or not droids, but commandos, clones, and pretty much she sees that there's a bunch of kids there. And I think Hemlock kind of explains that why the kids are so important, which is kind of nice. We kind of already were explained that a little bit, but he kind of shows like these kids are very important to this thing. And Emery, we kind of see that she's starting to show like a little bit of like, oh, hey, like, what's your name? Like the kids are like, you know how kids are, they'll ask you, what's your name? You know, tell me about you. And Emery's like, well, my name's Emery, blah blah blah. And Hemlock's like, yeah, hey, no, don't. Keep your talking and contact with them as like little as possible. So she's like, oh, okay. But so it's kind of interesting. So we kind of see Emery kind of like show her little oh, I care about these people, or care about these kids and stuff a little bit, but it's not really anything big. Like, I personally think, like with Omega, it's kind of like the same thing in a way. And to be honest, in this episode, I felt like really nothing kind of happened. Like, yeah, we kind of seen these kids that are part of this project. We kind of learned a little bit more about the project, but besides that, that was pretty much it.
Meanwhile,
yes,
I do think there was actually a lot that did happen in this episode. And it's got me a little excited, and it's just for the fact that we get a lot of answers.
I'll say that.
Emery now being head of research, she is filled in on everything.
She knows everything about the project.
We now know exactly why Omega is necessary. It's not because she is force sensitive. It's like that whole Ventress episode. Really, it stated for us. Ventress made the comment that she is not
a Jedi.
She's not force sensitive. Yeah, or at least not that she couldn't tell.
Yes.
Not without extensive training, she couldn't be. But now we know that it's because Omega is a bonding agent, which makes sense. Now you can take a very high count body, fuse it with Omega's DNA, and put it into the body that Palpatine's getting created for Project Necromancer. Like, it's a perfect way to transmit all those midichlorians from one body to another.
Exactly.
Which is great to know. And just, like, judging by the numbers of the kids' names and all, like, dude, there's so many test subjects that they must have gone through. Something I've even kind of, like, talked with a few of my other theory pals that have been mentioned. That room that all those kids are in for that is absolutely not suited for kids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess I could have said that. I didn't mention that. It's like picture a lab. A lab room with clean tables and everything, with little rooms for each one of the kids, and it's like a little cubby. It's like going into it's like being on a cruise. Like, if you've been into like a little cruise, or even like a prison. I would say, like, if you've been in like a little cruise room, like a little cabin, it's kind of like that. Like, except like you got like your little toilet there too, I'm assuming. And yeah,
I think you're assuming a lot there.
I'm assuming, like, I don't know. I'm assuming they have like everything there in that little room. I didn't see any toilet, but I'm just assuming just by how it looked and everything. It's like they got their own, because with the kids, they're very limited on when they can go out, when they are supposed to be in their rooms, and then with what happens in the episode, I'm pretty sure they're even more, or at least that one kid is definitely limited on what he can do. For sure. I don't even remember the kid's name, to be honest. Because pretty much what happens in the episode is one of the kids gets a bright idea to try to escape. He takes his chance, doesn't go well, and then he gets in trouble. And Emery, the one of the little kids who talked to that's like, like, hey, what's your name? It's like, hey, can I talk? Is that one kid in trouble? I don't remember the kid's name. I can't remember the kid's names off the top of my head. But they're like, hey, is that kid in trouble? Can I like talk to him or anything like that? And Emery's like, yeah, you'll be able to talk to him tomorrow, because he kind of was put into his room. But after that, he was kind of stuck in his room. It's like a timeout is the best way I could take it. But it's like a very extensive timeout. Like, he's like stuck in his room for I don't think it's just like a couple hours. It's like days, I'm assuming.
I was going to say, yeah, they do mention in it that the kid, mandatory punishment for what he tried to do is 2 days in solitary confinement.
Yeah. So yeah, and the other kid was very upset. It's like, I can't trust you because you told me I could talk to him and he wasn't going to get in trouble. So, now the thing is what Emery does, that if you remember the Omega episode with Emery, when Omega was captured and everything, she took that doll that Omega had and gave it to that kid, or left it at his door, because the kid was upset with her. He wouldn't talk to her. So he's like, okay, well, what can I do to help this kid, like, chill out, like, because he's upset with me. So she got that doll that Omega had, that I'm guessing she left. So she just took it and just kept it, and she gave it to that kid. and the kid loved it, of course, because the toy. 'Cause I'm assuming for the kids they don't have any toys. Only the things that they have out there in the commerce is what I would like to call it, the commerce room with all the tables and everything. I'm assuming that's the only stuff they can play with, and that's only for certain things to probably test their skills and just stuff, and just whatnot. But they don't really have like anything like toys, like stuff to play with. Like Omega kind of kept making herself a toy or something because, So yeah, it was. We did learn a lot, but it just. I agree with you when we were talking about it. Emery, it's kind of like building Emery's character up. I said like what I was saying from like previous episodes, is that I feel like Emery's gonna have they're trying to build her up to have a big part in this. I don't know what it is. Either she's going to take out Hemlock, she's going to betray him. I don't know, but she's going to be a big part of it somehow, some way.
I just think it's too little, too late.
I agree, but it's like, why have just an Emery episode like this? Mm-hmm. But it makes sense that she's taken over. What's the comedian? Comedian? I cannot say Kaminoan. What's her name?
Namaste.
Namaste, yeah. So Namaste, one thing that did happen in the episode that was interesting, and I kind of, as I said, that's why I feel like Emery's going to be a big part of it. It kind of confirms it in this episode, is she goes and talks to Namaste in her prison, and she's like, "Oh, are you the one that's taken over for me?" Because Namaste was in control of Project Necromancer, so that was her job. But now Emery's now pretty much in control of the job now, and pretty much you could tell Emery was kind of talking to Namaste kind of very casually, saying like, I feel bad for these kids. Or if she didn't really say that, you could definitely feel that, she's like, damn, I feel really bad for these kids. It sucks where they're at. And you kind of find out Namaste is doing everything she could to like help these kids as much as she could, but she can only do so much, and Emery's kind of now in the same spot. But yeah, that kind of does a little bit more character development for Emery. You kind of know that she does care about these kids, even though she is very calculated, very like scientific, but she does have a heart. Even though it's kind of hard to tell, but she does care about the kids a lot. And hopefully, she will take down Hemlock.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I hope not.
I know, but it's building up for it. That's the thing, though.
This can kind of go hand in hand with both Emery and Hemlock's character. I understand Hemlock's a big bad, and he is a very big threat that definitely needs to be taken down. It's kind of like another Thrawn in this sense. But he's so minor of a character. Like, we just know he's bad. That's all we know. And
he wants power, and by helping...
I don't think he cares about the power. I think he cares about the research.
I think he does because, like, when I mean power, I mean, like, he gets to do whatever he wants. Like, everything, like, well, you were saying, like, his research and everything, like, that's his power to me, is, like, he gets funding for his research and everything, and working with Darth Sidious on a Necromancer project and being successful with it will probably lead to him, because I know he mentioned that he would raise his rank, so he'd be higher on the board for I'm guessing like science or whatever branch he's at. He would be higher on the board, so he would gain power and have more control over, and probably more funding for what he wants to do, is how I understood it.
I think it's a lot bigger than that, or even smaller than that, depending on your perspective here. Because at the moment, I'm almost positive Hemlock is period head of research. Head of research. I don't know if there's really a thing that funnels under him, other than maybe the whole Death Star thing. I would imagine that technically counts as research, just because, of course, you have to study the Kyber crystal, figure out how to use it as a laser. But maybe that's old news. Maybe that's something Anakin can help with, and so it's not research, it's development.
Anakin.
But you're also underlining the whole fact that we got Tarkin in this episode, who even squares up with
Oh yes, we do. Yeah.
with Hemlock, and he even says, "I don't think what you're doing is worth it, because if you don't show results, there's no way this is gonna work. Like, you can't just keep doing this without giving us results."
Yep.
Like, it almost makes me think we're actually gonna get the plug pulled from us, or he's gonna get the plug pulled out before he finishes this. Like, the Empire will cut him off, and we will finish him with the Bad Batch.
Yeah, it's like a foreshadowing of what's gonna happen, which is gonna be very interesting to see what happens.
I think that'd actually be pretty poetic, considering how the Empire dealt with the Kaminoans.
Yes.
Science killed by military. They pulled everyone out of Kamino. People came and invade. The military just blew it up to cover their tracks.
Exactly.
So, Empire pulls funding, and Hemlock and his entire base just get destroyed in the process.
And yeah, there's gonna be a lot of deaths.
I hope that doesn't happen personally, just because you won't be able to have your hallway battles and everything. You want to see the Bad Batch do good at what they do.
Yeah.
On the ground level, so that way they can flesh out their characters, of course.
Of course.
It's no fun just seeing them in the sky battle or in their ship. But all in all, the episode, even though it wasn't the most entertaining, it was definitely the most informative one this season, I think.
Yeah.
Got a lot more insight on the Empire, and of course, it's really great timing with the whole Tales of the Empire announcement, which that can be a whole nother thing.
Oh yeah, that was one thing, and then also just today, I don't know if you knew this, but they did release the release date for Star Wars Outlaws and like another trailer.
I didn't see the release date, but I know they put out the story trailer, and I did watch that earlier. But we can go over that another time.
Yeah. If you have time, maybe and we could. We'll see. Okay. Yeah. Do we have any more thoughts over episode 10 that we'd like to share?
I mean, we can come back to that once we cover both, because I think the reason that these two launched as a dual release is because there's something to do with the other.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Fair. Okay.
But episode 11, it's great. Folks, if you were here last week, we were talking about the show.
It's what we predicted.
It was. So I predicted a little in this one.
And I predicted how it was going to end easily.
Yes. Well, no, you did not want it to happen.
I didn't want it to happen, but I was like, let's be honest here, it's probably going to happen.
Yeah. The destruction of Pabu. It didn't really get destroyed, which is unfortunate, but the invasion of Pabu, I'll still claim it.
I call it the ransacking of Pabu.
Even all the way down to the Shadow finding the planet, I was so happy about. What I really hate is the fact that he just parked his ship in the exact same spot Ventress did.
And they didn't think.
Right, like, I would hope that they even put, like, a proximity alarm down there. And be like, someone's in the caves. We're all here, so who's in the cave? and be a little more alert, but it's okay. It's whatever, But yeah, no, it was a really great episode. Once again, the Shadow discovered the location where the Bad Batch was hiding, called the Empire, and the Empire kind of gave our team hell.
They slapped him.
Yeah. Specifically, the Shadow. The Shadow has been the biggest threat. And, folks, later in this, I'll go over another theory I've thought about this week with the Shadow specifically.
Okay.
When our Shadow calls in the Empire, he blows up the Bad Batch's ship, so there's really no way off this planet. Fee is not there. And we also get something from the Shadow, and I absolutely love this. The Shadow mentions, like, how he tracks them. Because we do start off the episode with the Shadow finding Fee, which is a native to Pabu, who's been helping the Bad Batch throughout the show. and tracking her back to her planet by tracking her ship logs. But she found out about Fee by interrogating Sid. So,
Yes.
I'm really curious if Sid is now dead. I'd like to think so. Like, I don't see the Shadow leaving prisoners.
Of
I don't think the Shadow would leave anyone alive.
Probably not.
You know? Got the answers, she's gone. If we see her again, I think she'd still be a very fun cameo. But I think it's safe to assume she's dead.
Whoops, my phone.
Okay. Anyway, I'm just so upset that the Shadow blew up the ship. Because it was a really fun moment. I'm so glad Wrecker grabbed Gonky before the ship exploded. Like that was my favorite part of the episode. The only thing that really sucks about it is when the team went to recover Wrecker and try and hide before the Empire invaded. They didn't recover Gonky.
Gonky's fine.
Where's the guy? He's in the ocean. He's a battery.
Oh, then he's probably dead then.
That's what gonk droids do, folks. They're just like a walking battery.
Yeah, he's dead. He is. It's dead. Gonky's dead.
Yeah,
but
he's always been a fun addition to the team.
But to kind of explain why the ship exploded and Wrecker and Gonky flew into the ocean. So pretty much they took it was not the episode before, it was episode 9. They took Asajj Ventress's kind of advice was that if she could find him, then the Empire could easily find him. So they were pretty much getting ready to leave because they're like, it's not safe for us to be here. It's putting you guys all in danger. So Wrecker at that time was like loading up the ship with all this stuff. Crosshair, Omega, and Hunter they're pretty much all saying their goodbyes pretty much when it happened. So when that happened, the agent pretty much blew up the ship. Wrecker was flying in with Gonky, and then they're like, oh my god, our ship exploded. Everyone's freaking out. And then, hey, question, why are we explaining the episodes? Oh, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to like explain it roughly so if people don't know. But yeah, pretty much it's interesting. It kind of ended up like just how like I expected it was going to be. So they kind of took over everything because pretty much, if I remember correctly, he calls the Empire and he's like, okay, do what you gotta do, just make sure they don't escape, and we're going to be sending people your way, pretty much. And it was interesting because the Empire actually this time, like last time we saw him, the Empire working with the agent, they were like, we don't like you, blah 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 and stuff. But this time they were they worked very friendly with him this time. They kind of let him do what he's supposed to do.
You're leaving out a very important part about that relationship.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that because he actually contacted Hemlock about it.
No.
Well, no, he talked to Hemlock about it.
Oh, that's not what I mean though.
What do you mean then?
In the previous episodes Andre's referring to, we had the Shadow interacting with clones.
Oh yeah.
And the clones themselves did not respect the Shadow. You know, don't know his rank, don't know his file, don't know where he belongs in this whole command chain. But then when it comes to the team that invaded Pabu, this was like the new they have a designation and I can't think of it, but it's the new stormtroopers. They have something. TKs. They're TKs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So now you have like the new generation of non-clone stormtroopers, but still in that transitional stage that, as far as they're concerned, this guy is definitely higher rank. And yeah, of course they're gonna listen to his orders. Not to mention, this is probably more of like Hemlock's specific division.
That's kind of what I was thinking too, to be honest with that.
Yeah, I don't really see Wolf, unfortunately, being part of Hemlock's squad, or part of his team, considering Hemlock is doing so much research against the old clones now.
Yes.
But yeah, no, bringing us back. There's a whole kind of I don't know how to describe it, like an occupation. You see the Empire breaking into people's homes. They're going through house by house, just trying to find Omega because they know they're here and they know they're trapped. And with Wrecker unconscious
And Gonk Droid nowhere in sight.
Yeah, we know Batcher gets chased off by the not the clones, but by the stormtroopers, trying to defend Crosshair and Omega, who are now taking shelter where Wrecker is housed, and Hunter goes off on his own. Dude, that was one of my favorite sequences of that episode. Seeing him try and play stealth in an entirely occupied area was awesome. I really like the subtle detail of that. There's so much going on, there's no way he could stealth that. So, of course, it goes loud, unlike the first or second dude he tries to take out. And then he boards the gunship, trying to get a hold of the gunship so they can get out of there. And even then, that doesn't quite work. The pilot's trying to shake him off. He's yelling at the Empire to help him get him off his tail. And the Shadow just takes out the pilot. Like, dude, that is such a nice shot to take out the pilot in order to do that. Like, you could just shot Hunter at that point. Nah. Take out the pilot. Pilot goes down. Hunter's fine, of course. But it was pretty to see. But leaving, of course, Crosshair and Omega to their own devices as the Empire gets close. It's Omega's decision that she has to give herself up again in order to kind of save everyone. But this time, with Crosshair's help, they just kind of devise a plan. Like, I know you guys will try and track me. I know you guys will find me. I've got faith in you. You know, she tries to take a tracker with her. That doesn't work because she's immediately searched and has to give it up. And then their second plan is just have Crosshair attach a tracker to the ship that they take her off in until the Empire distracts Crosshair by running it behind him, and he doesn't have enough time to make the shot. Like, it's crazy to think that as great of a marksman as Crosshair is, like, I'm glad to see these vulnerable moments from him, where, like, he can't even make this shot. Like, he legitimately just lost Omega because of it.
Just wait until Hunter finds out.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm waiting for. That's gonna be my favorite, like, interaction next episode.
Or Wrecker. When Wrecker finds out, he's gonna be fucking pissed.
Wrecker is. Well, of course, unfortunately, the episode does end there, where Omega's being dragged off back to Hemlock, right back to Hemlock.
Yep, perma ship.
Now, we've got Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair on the prowl.
And the big question is because the whole idea of them shooting that tracker on the ship is so they could find out where that where Hemlock's new lab is. But now, with Omega going back where she started this season, we're just back in the same boat. But the thing is, I feel like since she is going back, she's gonna be definitely in pretty much with Emery again because she's part of Project Necromancer. But I feel like she's going to be treated very different compared to the other kids that are part of that project.
Yeah, I think how it's going to go is that solitary confinement. I think that is going to come back.
Yeah.
And something tells me we'll probably end up actually getting Ava in trouble. Like, something I'm thinking is maybe, I believe, Jax. Jax is the green kid who, mind you, he is the same species as Luminara and Barasafi.
Yes.
Something tells me that he actually won't make it back. You know? I don't think he's coming back from solitary confinement. I'm wondering if Hemlock won't actually have him executed or Scorch. That's another thing about the Emery episode. That, like, holy shit, they really made Omega kind of book accurate. Or not Omega. This is Delta Squad. Wrong thing.
I was gonna say Vega's in a book.
Okay, yes, folks. I'm not talking about Omega as in the character. I'm talking about Omega Squad, which is a clone commando squad from the books. I don't remember all of them other than Darman, Phi, and something else. I feel bad. I can't think of them. But Delta Squad, which is Scorch, Fixer, Boss, and Sev, from the famous 2005 Republic Commando video game, and the Delta Squad books, they were ruthless. They were trained by, like, the worst teacher, the most heartless teacher of all the Mandalorians to teach those clone commandos, which I don't think is unfortunately canon in the, like, story-wise, like all the TV and cinema storyline, but it's definitely kind of hinted at, I'd say, with some of the different teachings, and even Gregor mentions it, I believe, in Rebels? No, Clone Wars. Yeah. But it's just crazy to see Scorch so ruthless with everything. The way he treats the kids, the way he's just, like, willing to shoot on command. Like, hell, at least even the 2005 Scorch, he was kind of a softie. He was kind of laid back. He was like the slacker of the team. But I mean, even then, for them, that's still highly effective. So it's a little crazy to see the differences there.
It's all about that chip.
Mm-hmm. But once again, I think we're going to see Jax killed potentially, or learn that Jax was killed. Eva, it's one of the two, react in retaliation, possibly get sent to solitary. Maybe she will have her doll, and she will be there, kind of in a cell next to Omega. You know, I know it's solitary, but I feel like that could be in, like, a padded room with maybe a window, or, like, a slit, you know? And then her in the opposite one. And maybe Omega will see the doll. And I wonder if that will kind of help perk up, like, something about Emery, you know, and give us a little more reason to care about Omega and Emery's relationship as characters. Mind you, they're supposed to be sisters.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, they are supposed to be
the
sisters.
Story's going. So.
It's
I don't know. But hey, anyway, getting back into the actual theory stuff about these episodes.
Yeah.
This has really set up a lot, because where episode 10 was kind of slacking, just because it was so direct that it doesn't leave a lot of room for theorying.
Yeah.
The
only thing,
episode 11 and where we go from there, that's a lot. That's huge.
a lot of theory.
Yeah. Actually, no. Episode 10 does have one thing to go over. The very beginning with Hemlock. The episode starts off with Hemlock, or, like, we're in the perspective of a test subject inside a capsule. And then we flip back to Hemlock the moment he pushes a button and the door closes. So we don't know what he was looking at. But then he pulls up his data pad and it clearly shows a clone shadow, like the one that we've dealt with this entire season. And he does make a comment in episode 11 to the shadow when he calls that you are on your own. You know, there's no one else ready. Like, none of the other shadows are ready. So, makes me really curious who's going to be another shadow. We've talked about Tech being the shadow on the show before. I think it's better if he is that shadow than the one in the capsule. Because we've talked about before also where I'd love to see the team come through, see some of their, like, fellow clones or something in the tubes, but not be able to help because they're so focused on the actual mission.
Which is freeing the clones, getting Omega.
Mm-hmm. Which, you know, how can you do that if it is tech? You know, maybe he's like too destroyed. To
Far gone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no way back. There's no way to rescue a man like that, unfortunately.
Tech's gonna sacrifice himself.
He's gonna die again. No.
He's gonna die for real this time, saving everyone.
Yeah.
And Emery.
I mean, he's not gonna make it out of that tube if that is the case. But it's good to see that just when we think we killed the Shadow in these next 4 episodes, possibly, that even though we know, or even though the characters think they killed the Shadow, then Hemlock just sends another instead. Like, that's gonna suck. Because they're gonna have their guard down, and then second one immediately. Like, it's really gonna suck for them. But yeah, no. So in the theories I mentioned before with the Shadow, again, we've talked about who the Shadow could be. We've gone over Tech. Tech is the most likely person to be that Shadow. I don't think that's true. My next thought, and probably the better option, is that the current Shadow that we're fighting, that's giving us such a hard time right now, clone Commander Cody. In Season 2, we saw Cody interact with Crosshair back when Crosshair was working with the Empire still. And at the end of that episode, Cody, I mean, he definitely showed much more rebellion to the Empire. Like, he didn't agree with the choices that the officers were making. In fact, there was an officer who ordered Cody to make a kill shot on a civilian, practically. And Crosshair had to do it so Cody didn't get in trouble. Or I think that's the way to take that moment, personally. And then we know by the end of that episode, Clone Commander Cody went AWOL. You know, completely abandoned his post and was never heard of again. And I think this is actually the show's best opportunity to close out that character, because otherwise we don't know what's happened to Cody. In the comics and the books and stuff, Cody goes from being clone commander to being like clone internal affairs. Damn, someone's fucking up in the Empire? Get Cody on it. Cody takes him out. Cody's not having none of this shit. So I think this is actually a really fitting role and still in the same ballpark as the Shadow. You know, you can send the Shadow after anyone. Shadow's like anything goes operative, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Dude, Cody, I don't know. I think Cody would fit in really well here.
Cody?
That could be a really fun interaction by the time we get another episode with all of our clone pals, like Rex and them, and Hauser. Because imagine Rex gets into a fist fight with the Shadow, knocks his helmet clean off, and he just sees Cody. Because he recognizes his brothers. Yeah, like, it would suck. Rex has had to put down so many of his clone brothers from the end of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Like, just to have to put down another one. Because there is no saving him. They've tried to save them.
Yep.
Like, to just have to put down Cody. But again, it gives us closure as an audience. Character, his time has come. We know he's not in any of the future projects. It's just great to round it out and end it there.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. With that. Damn. So you think it's gonna be Cody? I'm still going with Tech. I think it'll be Tech.
No, please. No Tech. We all need Tech.
But that'd be so cool. Think about the dynamic with the team, and it's like, whoa, Tech. But I think
died already.
Yeah, but they're working on him, or he'll be in a test tube being worked on.
look, I just don't want to see his death go undermined. I still love how Tech died. I still love that Tech died.
I know, but
season 2.
But Tech's such an important and smart character. Why not use him against his own brothers?
See, and kind of going back on this, another thing I was holding out hope for when we got episode 11. Of course, the episode starts where the team feels like they need to leave in order to save Pabu. Because they know that they're being hunted. They know Omega's a high-value target. They know it's only a matter of time before shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
So when Omega has to leave the trophies in the trophy room, I thought that was going to be an option when I first watched episode 11. Like, I kept hyping up that Pabu's going to get invaded, and I'm still glad that happened. I'm glad I was right to some degree. But, you know, just imagine this, if you will. If the Bad Batch had left, you know, the Shadow arrives, I need to, you know, and he still needs to find evidence that Bad Batch was here, even though they're not here anymore. What do you find? You find that treasure room where they left the Tanuka doll. And they left Tech's glasses. Like, if there was going to be a moment where Tech comes to realization, like, if you're saying that's Tech, why not better than to have his glasses just there?
Yeah, I guess that's
you
true.
Know? That moment of realization, you know, maybe take the battle to a whole nother planet instead of Pabu. But, no, we didn't do that. We're not worried about that, because that's not Tech in that suit.
It's Commander Cody.
It's Commander Cody. Again, I really do feel like Cody would still be a great fit for this. And we've also talked about previously on the, what was that, episode 8, when Rex's base got destroyed? Was that episode 8, or was that episode, like, 7?
I think that was 7, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it was 7-6.
Yeah, 6-7.
In those episodes, Crosshair seemed to have some more, like, personal beef with the Shadow. And I don't think that's, you know, because Crosshair knew who it was. I doubt that. I think Crosshair knew of the program. I don't think he knew.
He knew who the guy was.
Yeah.
Personally.
I don't think he did. No.
Maybe he does, because it could be Cody.
Well, I'm saying he wouldn't know directly.
Okay, that's fair.
But it does seem like the Shadow knew him.
Very well, because
well, I don't want to say very well. Just knew him.
Just knew that he was picked for that program and stuff, but he didn't want to be a part of that program. I'm assuming that was probably close to when he went against the Empire. He changed his, where he kind of killed the Imperial officer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I think a lot of that's also got to do with the fact that, you know, we had this moment between that specific Shadow and Crosshair, where, you know, he actually, like, spoke to Crosshair. Like, you could have been one of us. You could have been part of the Empire. And that's, as far as that conversation went, really? Like, realistically? But it just felt so personal in that moment. So, like, even if it was Cody, Cody knew him. And I think that would kind of tug at the heartstrings in a way, also, because Crosshair knew Cody wasn't on board before he went AWOL. You know?
Yeah.
So, just to hear those words echoing in his mind, knowing that was Cody in retrospect, that would suck. Because that means that whatever they did to Cody, really fucked him up.
They really got him.
And, of course, yes, if it was Tech, it'd still be just as personal, because, you know, was Tech talking about being a Bad Batch member, being on the right side of the universe, of the galaxy, or is he talking about being a Shadow, and being with the Empire, and which way is worse, and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Yes. So
I don't need to say more.
How dare you? But lot of funny notes. We know that Batcher is a girl.
Oh yeah, we did find out that.
That was great. That's exactly what I said when I watched the episode 2. Good girl. Yay! It's great. Because I know we talked about that last week, briefly, and we definitely talked about it the week before. I know. But we got our answer. Batcher's a girl. Yes. And then other little details. We know that the Shadow also has like some weird chip control on his arm. Like not even on his forearm. No, this is on his like upper arm. Like almost underneath a shoulder pauldron. Which I thought was really weird. I thought that could be a fun little detail if Hunter and him got into a fight on the ship. Like Hunter might be able to open the ship and let someone out or something by just fighting him. I know, I'm overthinking it. I'm overthinking it a lot, folks.
Yes. It'll probably be explained in the next episode or the episode after that.
Yeah, someone's gonna punch him in the shoulder and the ship's gonna self-destruct like, you bitch.
And that's the end of the Bad Batch.
No, that's the end of the Shadow.
But you don't think the person in the ship that punches in the shoulder is gonna die too?
No, I'm saying like, just imagine they both, like, two people get off the ship, the Shadow and someone else, and just like, ah, you man, just punches him in the shoulder, like a little sock to the shoulder.
Oh, jeez. God.
Why would there be a self-destruct button on his?
I feel like that'd be like.
Actually, that fits perfectly though, with the way this whole like Black Ops operation goes. Like hell, even the Shadows, they have a suicide tooth. They clamp down on that tooth, it kills them.
Just like in spy movies.
Mm-hmm. So it would actually make a lot of sense. Like, oh, they found my ship. They're gonna find the records.
They're gonna find everything.
They blow up the ship. You know, and I've said before, I'm gonna say it again. That is a nice fucking ship. Like, it's so sleek, it's so smooth, it looks so clean and pristine. I love it.
I'm more of a Millennium Falcon kind of guy, but
you suck. Anyway, I've always been much more like the clean cut. I'm not big on the whole scavenger rep.
I love the scavenger, like mod it your own way kind of ships.
Yeah. No, I know. There's a lot of really fun designs in Star Wars for ships. That's always been fun. Like, yeah. Personally, I don't think there's any one ship that stands out. Or it's the Ghost specifically, from Star Wars Rebels. That would be like a great ship because I know it has a living core. I know it's got like the housing. It's a cargo ship, so it's got plenty of space. Dual guns, an ability to hold a smaller ship, and like it's just good. It's just good. It's a great ship. But there have been a lot of really fun-looking ships. Like even the one in Outlaws looks fun.
Oh yeah.
You can even go back and look at Andor, and not Andor ship, but what's his name? See him in my mind. I want to say he's a Skarsgård. Is it Bill Skarsgård? It's his ship. I think it's Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Skarsgård. He has a ship in Andor, and it's really unique, also. So that could be a really fun ship. Because it has a bunch of like smuggling compartments, and like the walls turn around and reveal things. Like you could hide a lot. Had a lot of stuff in there.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Black market, smuggling, only way to go.
I was gonna say if I picked like a sleek ship from Star Wars that I really enjoyed, I would have to say it's either Padme's ship from episode 2. I don't remember what the ship's called, but it's that silver ship.
Okay, you are talking about the Naboo.
Yes, the Naboo. It's the Naboo ship that she uses, or I would even say the
I
Naboo
know.
fighter ones. I even like those. Those are really cool.
The fighters are nice, and we do get to see those in Mandalorian.
Yes, we
well.
do. Woo!
It's just, of course, from the Mandalorian series, we know that does not have anywhere near as much room as, say, the Razor Crest. The Razor Crest would have also been a pretty suitable ship, if not for everything that happened to that poor ship in the Mandalorian.
It's all.
My God.
It's all part of the journey.
Yes. And folks, we don't mean to spoil other series.
I apologize.
But yeah.
For both of us.
Welcome to the channel. Back to Bad Batch. The Bad Batch is gonna die. No, something I do want to go back to though with the Bad Batch, specifically episode 11 of season. And
Season 3.
no, I'm trying to think. I think it's episode like 7 of season 1.
Oh, season 1.
And what was the other one? I mentioned it to you off stream. It's in season 2, and I can't think of it. It's it's literally the finale, folks. Something I've noticed with this series, and it's a really unfortunate, moment. Our team has been in some constant struggle throughout all the episodes, throughout the entire series.
But it's during the beginning of the Empire era.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I was to say, well, they've been going through struggles, but think about it. They're dealing with the beginning.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying, just everything they've gone through, period. They've gone through a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Between smugglers, the Empire, just the living, being parents, being the Bad Batch. Yeah, losing teammates. It all sucks. But, I've always noticed the team really falls vulnerable. We see the team crumble a lot whenever Wrecker is out of commission or unavailable. In season 1, we actually had 2 moments now that I think about it. There's the episode with the Martez sisters. In the decommissioned episode. I don't know which episode that is, but I'm sure that's the title.
Probably.
And that's when Wrecker is starting to feel the symptoms of his Order 66 programming chip.
Oh yeah, that episode, that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. And there's just that brief moment where the Martez sisters and the Bad Batch are all linked up, and they're being surrounded, and they're overrun, and then Wrecker wakes back up after knocking himself out and cutting the programming, and he gets back to work, and immediately the team is able to escape nothing happened, and gives them enough time to hack into the droids and save their own asses in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they were in some serious danger up until Wrecker became available. Fast forwarding to the mid-season of season 1, where Rex is positive, you guys get your chips out of your damn heads, and takes them all the way to Braca to get all their Order 66 chips taken out. Now, of course, Wrecker, victim chip because he had problems with it all the way up to that moment. And Wrecker by himself can take out the entire squad practically with ease. Another moment where the Bad Batch is completely vulnerable. And so, in the finale of Season 2, Wrecker is sitting in front of Sid with a broken neck. And I know Sid is the real problem here, and Wrecker's not the problem. But I feel like if Wrecker didn't have a broken neck and have that giant neck brace on, after everything that happened with Tex dying, I feel like Wrecker would have tried to fight all the clone commandos at Hemlock if he weren't already injured.
Yeah, probably.
And then, even with this episode, Wrecker got taken out almost immediately when the conflict started, trying to save Gonk Droid and get off the exploding ship. And that's what made him go into the water, fall unconscious, and be really dead weight in this last episode, because Crosshair and Omega are trying to make sure that they don't find him or her during it.
Yeah.
But every time Wrecker has been out of commission, something happens. Like, the team just becomes vulnerable, falls apart, and something inevitably happens. They lost the data and decommissioned. I suppose it could have gotten more, but you know what I mean. If not for having Omega on, because she was so new, they wouldn't have stopped a Wrecker on the Republic Cruiser and Baraka.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have had more of a fighting chance in this finale. And I feel like they definitely would have had more of a fighting chance now in this escape attempt if Wrecker were actually at full strength and if he was completely conscious.
But yeah. But he usually got back up and normal usually within that same episode.
Some of that, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
I know for like the one on Braca, it was like the very end of the episode he was awake.
yeah.
It was like he just got out of surgery. Like, he wasn't like he wasn't doing great.
Yeah. Not so good. Not so good at all. But the only reason I bring that up is because I think I wouldn't be surprised if Wrecker is actually out for like an episode or two.
Okay, I could see that with this. In fact, and I really don't want this to be the case, I feel like that could have or should have been, like, if it was anyone else, that would have been death.
Oh yeah. No.
Because he was face down in the water for so long. By time rescue boats got out there, like, you legitimately would have drowned.
He's fine.
Like, if you weren't this genetically engineered super clone, I feel like Wrecker would have been fucked.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we definitely lost Wrecker in that moment.
Wrecker will be fine.
I almost see what you mean about Wrecker being out of commission, but I don't know. Structure of the episodes and everything, I feel like it'd almost make more sense just for him to be awake. Same time Hunter confronts Crosshair on what the fuck happened.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
And we keep going over that, like, Wrecker and Hunter will be mad.
Well, yeah, they're going to be upset.
I don't get me wrong. I know they're not going to be happy that Omega gave herself away. But I really don't think they're going to be mad with Crosshair. Just because he did what he could.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Crosshair did anything wrong. The Empire came up on him. He would have gotten shot putting that tracker on.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for trying to take out the stormtroopers and then try and do the job at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think
mind
they'd
you-
be upset with him, especially not that. I think they're just going to be upset that Omega literally just gave herself up. But I think they'll understand, and now they're going to be like, well, now we're back in the same boat where we don't know how we're going to find her.
I think they'll definitely be frustrated at one point, but then be over it and be right back into back to square one. So we left off trying to find Tantus here, And unfortunately, I do know part of what next episode is going to be. But yeah,
Spartan.
YouTube played an ad, and it was the episode 12 trailer.
Oh yeah, that did come out, didn't it?
Yeah, because they do that. And I see Star Wars upload another trailer to their channel. It was titled All In or something like that. And that's just like the second half of the season. Not even second half. It's like the final season trailer.
I actually did see that too, actually.
I saw a thumbnail. I kind of don't want to check it out because I'm sure it's going to have a lot.
Spoilers.
Like, here's the thing. Between what I saw in that episode, or in that trailer for next episode, and what I saw in the trailer for the Bad Batch final season, I feel like next episode there won't be any more footage that I know of.
Okay.
Because, like, some of the moments I talked about from that trailer is going to happen next week.
What do you
And
mean?
if it's a one...
This week or today?
Or,
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Oh, God, that is tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
Folks, bright and early, 4:30 in the morning. Turning that shit on.
I'll probably be playing Assassin's Creed.
Okay, that's on there. I care for you, community.
I'll watch it during the day.
Huh?
Yes. I care, it's just I'll watch it during the day.
See, he doesn't care. Anyway. No, I just want to watch the episodes. I like to watch it beforehand. It kind of gives me a bit of a momentum booster going into work.
Momentum.
Talk about Dragon Ass today. Anyway.
Whoa!
I didn't feel good today.
Oh, man. Yeah. I was wondering, I did see that you were on Xbox. Like, I got a notification about that, and my wife's like, Sparta's been on Xbox, like, for, like, half the day. And I'm like, he didn't go into work. And I'm like, oh, he probably didn't.
No,
he probably wasn't feeling good.
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I went until noon, and I just wasn't feeling great.
It's
Like,
understandable.
I can't even say I'm sick. It feels more like a headache.
Yeah.
And could I have wrote it out? I probably could, but dude, I just today was probably the most scared I felt. Like I was just gonna like collapse.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Viewers, don't mean to scare you. Hi, welcome back. But yeah, no, folks. When it comes to this episode, there's unfortunately not a lot to really theory off of with this, just because I feel like there's so much that could happen that it's impossible to really speculate, other than something along the lines like Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair getting right back to it. And
what's going to happen in really the next episode? Who we already talked about who we think the shadow guy is. But yeah, pretty much, like I said, the only thing I could see as the next episode is that maybe Wrecker is awake, but I just don't feel like he'd be able to go on a mission. He'd be like, the Hunter will be like, hey, you got to stay here. You're like in no condition to do anything.
I don't see that.
I don't see it either, but I think it'd be good.
I'm not gonna lie, I have insider knowledge, because that's all I know.
Yes.
But I'm also just saying, as a character,
it doesn't make sense for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't see Wrecker doing that. Like, hell, again, the dude had a broken neck and he's sitting at the bar drinking in season 2. Like, I don't see him waking up and then being like, yeah, I need to recover. Like, he didn't even want to recover after they probed his brain for this chip. Nah. Right back to it. And that's just clones. You know, clones are very proactive in that regard.
They don't waste any time.
Exactly. So Wrecker's getting right back into pop.
I kind of wish I had that mentality every day.
Right?
Instead of being like, I just don't feel like anything today. I just want to take a nap.
Yeah.
But yeah, so pretty much, I guess, since you've seen the trailer, I would say you kind of have an idea what maybe the next episode's going to be about.
I do.
Okay, at least tell me this.
Not what it's about, but I know I recognize elements of it. Yeah.
Let me ask you, from that trailer, did you see Omega?
I did not.
Okay, so I would assume...
But that doesn't mean that we won't have moments from her perspective as well.
Well, the question is like, with that being said, do you think, if that's the case, I think the next episode, what I could see them doing is that the next episode isn't involving Hunter, Wrecker, or Crosshair. I think that'd be weird if they didn't do that, especially with what happened like at the end of the episode. It wouldn't make sense, but I could see them doing that where they show Omega and her going to Hemlock's lab, and that all that be an episode. So I could see that happening, but then I could also see the next episode being right after what happened, because it's a big thing what happened last episode, at least where it left us. She's gone. They have no idea where she's going. All they know is that she's going to Hemlock, and they have no idea where his base is, which is the whole thing. So, and I guess the biggest question is, how in the world are they going to find Omega now? Because this time, I'm assuming they're going to get to the base. This time, because last time they didn't get to the base, they just found Omega with Crosshair, because they escaped the base. So this time they're going to find it, and the question is how, though.
Yeah.
Which is something we could theorize, like how they do it.
Yeah. Which I'm sure they're going to at least find evidence. I don't think they're just going to find it.
Oh yeah, I don't think so either.
You know.
I think somebody on the inside is going to have to help them.
That would be a very fair point. Like, that might even be how Emery actually...
Yeah, I was going to say,
I
think it's Emery, because you could tell that she cares about these kids, and with Omega there, Omega might care even more now. So she'd be like, hey, I'm assuming what's going to happen is Omega, because Omega seems like she feels like Emery could be good. So I think what's going to happen is that she's going to try to convince Emery. She's going to try, but fail, because Emery's Emery. To call her friends, we can get out of here, blah, blah, blah. We need to save the clones. We need to save all these kids. Especially because the thing is, I don't think she probably doesn't know about the other kids. Omega doesn't.
Not, no.
So when she gets there, she's going to even be like, we got to save these fucking kids. We need to get them out of here. You know? So it's going to be very interesting. So I'm assuming what's going to happen is Emery's going to... I'm assuming something Hemlock's going to do to the kids, probably murder one, like what you're saying, the one kid. Something's going to happen, and it's going to push Emery over the edge. And she's going to be like, this is wrong. I don't know what it's going to be or what's going to happen. Because no offense to Emery, she kind of just doesn't... That's the thing. She just doesn't really have, any emotion. She kind of does, but not really.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's going to be kind of hard to convince me, at least for Emery, is that, she's going to have, a whole 180 and be like, oh, I need to help these kids now. And I think that's why, at least with the next remaining episodes of the season, we have to be convinced that Emery's changed and she wants to do good because of what Hemlock does. I don't know. Maybe she's going to find more kids, in test tubes or stuff. I have no idea. But something's going to have to happen to make her turn, and she's going to probably contact the Bad Batch somehow. Or I'm assuming he's going to probably contact the Bad Batch, because I don't think they have any way to contact Cody or anything. But I'm assuming Cody... damn it. I can't remember. Well, Cody and all of them will all get together, and they'll pretty much... Emery will contact the Bad Batch. They'll all come to Hemlock's lab, and then that's how the remaining episodes of the season is going to play. That's how I think it's going to happen. That just makes the most logical sense. It sucks because... Oh, yeah, sorry. But it sucks because Emery just... Like what you said, Emery's just, a character that literally we've only seen little of, and she just hasn't had that much character development. I just don't... I just don't believe her. No offense. It's starting to show. It's I'm actually caring about these kids, but it's you really haven't shown us any emotion or anything that makes me believe that you're gonna change. But they're, like I said, they showed with episode 10. They literally are showing that she cares, and it's I don't believe you.
We talked about it last week, but I feel like it's too little, too late.
Yeah.
And not what she's doing is bad. I actually do give a little more care to her, but that makes me angry. I don't feel good for actually appreciating this character, you know?
Maybe we'll get more backstory on her, and that will
Maybe, and I think that would help her out a lot.
Yeah.
We've pondered here on the podcast, folks, that, you know, do we think she is a kind of genetic variation? You know, is she a female clone? The Kaminoans purposely make a female clone? Could she be like a member of the Bad Batch? That she's like the female of them all? You know, like that's the one-off for her.
What if Emery's
Or
Omega's mom?
no, that should just be Django's DNA. Like I think we are still settled on that. But something we have discussed here on the channel also is Emery Carr just Django's sister? You know, not a clone. Like, could this have been like one of Django's younger sisters? Because I believe he did actually have family. I just don't know. Like, I don't know the book. I don't know the books there.
I don't know either, to be honest.
But like, you know, I could see them trying to work like that. And trying to be like, oh yeah, no, Django's my older sister. That makes you my sister because you are his DNA.
Okay.
In either angle, I think that would just help flesh out who or what she is as a character, the relation, how we should expect her to feel. But it still just feels too little too late. They made it too big of a plot point at the end of season 2 to do so little with the character. Last time we talked about this character or had her even relevant was episode 3 when Omega escaped. Now here we are, last quarter of the season as an entirety.
We got 4 episodes left. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's, I don't know, man. Unless they dedicate 1 episode for just her, which they probably will.
Well, they already did. That was episode 10.
Yeah, but it was more. It was not. I guess it was kind of her, but it was more like finding out about. It was more like it was more. We learned a lot more about a Project Necromancer, and a lot more questions about that. Like, yeah, it was about Emery, but it just. Did we really learn anything about Emery except that we know that she cares?
Andre, I think how you're taking it is. We got the episode about Emery, but we don't care about her. We care about what she knows.
Yeah, she technically knows a lot more compared to a lot of people on in that base now. And Hemlock, of course, but that's just Hemlock. He's the main man.
Here's the actual thing. Something I thought about earlier, and I wanted to ask.
Huh.
Emery is now part of Project Necromancer. Of course.
Yes.
But do we think she actually knows what Project Necromancer is for?
That is actually... No, I don't think she does.
See, I think that is the only way to, like... Okay, she can be validated now. She doesn't know how bad she's in.
Yeah, she doesn't know what's going to happen to those kids.
Like, I feel like we have to find that shred of innocence in her to even have hope. Because, like, again, you can ponder the fact that, yeah, she's part of Project Necromancer. And for her, that could just be a research title. She's all about the research.
Yeah.
She doesn't know the end goal. You know, it's kind of like what you see in a lot of movies where it's like, okay, I developed this drug. You're going to use it to help people, right? Right? And then it's going to be an entirely, like, it could be a chemical weapon.
Damn. That actually made me open my eyes a little bit.
Yeah, like, she now knows, like, okay, so the whole point of Project Necromancer is, like, we find a bonding agent to help give midichlorians to, like, other people, maybe, or to something like this, you know? Not that we are resurrecting a body, which, I mean, you could infer that from Necromancer, of course, and I think she would be smart enough for that, but does she know who?
I don't think she really knows.
Does she know what we're planning?
I don't think she does. All I think she knows is that she's testing blood and looking for something, and that's it. Because literally, all she does is just take blood samples, puts it into a machine, and the machine tells her something. That's it.
And that kind of goes with my argument last week about Emery, where she's really a back and forth character. You can't tell if she cares about people. You can't tell if she cares about the research. Because with something like that, she would care about the research.
Yeah.
But she'll care more about the people if the research isn't being good or used for good.
They better explain Emery, like who she is, what's her relation, is she a clone, is she a daughter or something? I don't know. Like that's something that's kind of important.
I don't think we need another Emery focused episode. I really don't. I think what we need is just more time with the character. Like I said, we had in the season finale. It's the first time that's not the first time. We saw her, I think, in like 2 or 3 different episodes in season 2. It's just we didn't know she was a character until this.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, she just looks like another lab scientist.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if they do have another episode with Emery, it's going to be an Omega and Emery episode. It's not going to just be her. It's going to be like a focus of both, and her like probably finding out Project Necromancer and being like, "Oh my god."
Well, I mean, again, under his thing, I'm talking like she doesn't need to be the focus. Like I do think she was the focus last episode of 10.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, Omega is going to be the focus of whatever episode. And that's how we're going to find out more about Emery.
Okay.
Not that Emery's going to... Like, Emery, of course, will be there, but I don't necessarily expect it to be a joint focus.
I think it's going to be a joint focus. Because I can't see Omega really doing that much. Mm-hmm. Being in there. Especially, like, look at the kids. Like, all they do is literally they go to their room. They get their blood sample, they go out in their little play area, they play, and then they just do the same thing.
Well, I mean, mind you, there's a lot of it when you look at the science of it, why they're doing the playing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, they want to make sure that none of the blood being drawn is affecting their learning process, because that could affect the blood sample or how the sample develops later on.
It's a very controlled and...
very controlled environment.
Yeah. So, and it's very repetitive because they're wanting to test things, so they have to keep it very controlled and very what's the word I'm looking for? Very like the same. So it's like, okay, is there any difference? So it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be Omega and an Emery episode. Like it's gonna be part of like an Omega episode / Emery is gonna be like, I know you're saying that it's the split episode, but I think Emery is going to be definitely kind of a lead in that episode as well, because she's going to be really the only one that's going to find out more about Project Necromancer. Because I can't see Omega. If she does, it's going to blow my mind if she escapes and finds out more in the lab. No. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think for a second Omega's going to escape. I think what it would be is the classic villain monologue. In a way, we kind of already got that with Hemlock, explaining everything to Emery. Mind you, in its own right, makes sense. He's talking to an ally. No reason to think any less. He's talking to his new chief of research, which is totally expected.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it sounds like a villain monologue. It's him explaining everything he's gonna do to the hero, blah blah blah. So I almost wouldn't be surprised if Hemlock does something like that with Omega. Especially, which I could really see, especially if Omega even inquires about it. If Omega even asks, I feel like Hemlock will be the kind that's like, you want to know. Villain. So you want to know. Okay. And he'll either be like, I'm not that stupid.
Might as well tell her. She's probably going to die.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, not to be pestered or anything, but, if Omega was like, you don't have the right kind of... you need to set that element to this, that should give you better results. If she would match him on the level... I feel like there might be a little more give from Hemlock. Like,
Okay.
just enough of a give that Omega can find something out.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, going back to it, like, this is going way back a bit. When it comes to these next 2 episodes, okay.
Which I'm thinking correctly for everyone. All these episodes from now on, there's no 2 episodes for a week. They're all going to be single episodes.
I was going to bring that up after.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
That's fine. That's crazy to me still. Like, I still feel that, like, the 2 final episodes should be a joint release, or episode 15 should be like a 40-minute, hour-long, like episode 1 was. Episode 1 was like an hour and 12 minutes or something like that. Like, it was long episode.
Yeah, it was.
I'd love to see that for the finale as well.
I would hope they would do that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they only do like a 30-minute episode.
Otherwise, I need them to go like longer. Like, I need to be like a 35. Show that, like, there's so much in this final episode. We got pack it all in.
Damn, that's. I feel like I already know how the last episode's gonna be. Just by looking at the titles.
Hold on to that thought. I don't want to go there yet.
Oh, yeah.
And plus, we've been holding off on that. We've only been doing the next episode.
Okay. Yes.
Now, I don't know what that's called. I just have seen that trailer.
I could tell you. It's something. I'll describe it.
Wait, one second. I won't.
Yeah.
But with these next 2 episodes, like how I imagine it, kind of 2 episodes being like how the season started, where we had episode 1 being about Omega and her time in the Empire. Episode 2 was about Hunter and Wrecker's story about trying to find Omega. And then episode 3 is kind of when we get back on, like we have the what's going on with Omega, what's going on with Hunter and Wrecker, and then we were back on track with how we're going to get, to the present.
Yeah.
That makes sense? How we're going to close that gap.
Yes.
With episode 3. I feel like that's what's going to happen with these next. I feel like next episode is going to be one group. I feel like the following episode is going to be the other group, and then episode 14, 15. 14 setting up like maybe the Bad Batch and the clones coming to Tantus, and episode 15 being whatever's going to happen at Tantus.
You're not too far off. At least from what I'm seeing with the titles.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay, so the next episode, episode 12, guys. It's called. I'll describe it to you. One of your favorite kill streaks in Call of Duty.
Oh, I know the name of the episode.
There you go.
No, it's Juggernaut.
Yep. Juggernaut.
Again, I won't go into how I know that, but I know that.
Yep.
I know that.
So it'll be interesting. I think it's going to be probably a Bad Batch episode.
Mm-hmm.
Just by the name.
Wait, you think it's going to be like Wrecker Hunter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wrecker Hunter Crosshair. Just by the name, like it doesn't seem by the name, it does not sound like it's going to be a Omega episode. Just by the name. Because when I think of a Juggernaut, I'm thinking of big boy. If you guys know Call of Duty, big boy, tons of armor. He's ready to rock and roll. So, it makes more sense to be like a Bad Batch episode. Because I just don't. I don't think I could. Well, maybe I guess it could be an Omega episode, but it'd just be very interesting.
Yeah.
I just can't see it. I see it more being a Bad Batch episode. Now the question is, what are they going to be doing that's going to involve someone that's in big armor like a Juggernaut? And what do they mean by Juggernaut? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So all I think of is just
See.
Call of Duty.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't go into it because even if I didn't know what I knew now, I could share Star Wars knowledge I know, and like I would know something about that name with this.
Well, you've seen the trailer. Am I from the trailer?
No, the trailer shows exactly the Star Wars knowledge I knew before.
Okay. Am I close?
To give you an idea, it is a thing.
Okay. It's not a person, it's a thing. Okay.
It is a thing. But I've known this from various Star Wars medias. It's like it's one of the few vehicles I know we've talked about before here on the channel, briefly. But yeah, no, I mean, it'll be a fun episode for sure.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can't believe it's tomorrow.
Yeah, folks.
We're almost halfway through the week. Hump day. Woo.
Yes.
And weekend will be here, and I'll just get to chillax. Oh my gosh.
It'll be another unproductive weekend for myself. Anyway.
I'm probably gonna try to play Assassin's Creed Revelations. I want to actually hopefully get through a good portion of the game and get it done.
Actually, that's a lie. I need to get back into it with my own gaming.
And then I think after that, I'm going to play Star Wars The Clone Wars. And when I say Star Wars The Clone Wars, I'm not talking about Star Wars The Clone Wars, the animated series games. I'm talking about the old Star Wars The Clone Wars game that came in a dual pack with a Tetris, and it came with the original Xbox. That game. That game's fun. And I'm planning on trying to play that game next because good game.
Yeah.
Good game. Haven't played in a long time. I wonder if any of my gaming skills haven't improved since then. So maybe it won't be as hard because I remember having so much trouble in some missions on that game.
See, you know, it'd be really fun to do sometime.
What?
And it was something that I would love to also maybe put here on the channel and for you guys, the audience. Because of course not everyone is a gamer. Not everyone knows. Sorry about that. Not everyone knows about some of the stuff we bring up with the Clone Commandos. I think it would be great if we could do like a couch co-op thing and play Republic Commando again.
That would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to play the campaign alongside you, but otherwise we'd have to go into multiplayer and not multiplayer, but a private match. Just have like a 1v1.
I was gonna say, yeah, definitely the servers are definitely not on anymore. So.
Well, yeah, no, of course they're not on, but I remember that was something me and your brothers did. I think you and I did maybe at one point.
I think we did. We probably did.
And then I've had various friends over the years who have come over and played it, and we'll just do the 1v1, which is just fun.
It is a good game. Very good game.
Sad. I
just
really
didn't
do
continue.
recommend it. It was one of those games that, like, God, Star Wars, please. And I still beg them, please, do something with the Clone Commandos. Like, I'm so glad we have... I'm so devastated we haven't seen Boss or Fixer. For folks who know about the story, we know what happens to Sev.
I don't.
You do. You played the game.
Well, yeah, I played the game, but I don't know the whole story. So you said that like.
You don't know the whole story, but you know, like we would know that something does happen to Sev.
Yeah, freaking cliffhanger.
Very big cliffhanger.
And then they're like, "Oh, I can't wait to play the next one." And then you're just like, "Yeah, they didn't make it anymore."
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they didn't make it in the game, but they continued that story in the books, which I am currently reading because, I don't know those yet.
I need to get those books and probably read them. That sounds interesting.
I've been reading this book
In quotations.
probably since like June of last year. It's just the point I stopped because it was just like, I get the break. I got 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna play Marvel Snap. Shout out to Marvel Snap.
See, what I'm doing during my breaks is I'm watching like the old Star Wars movies. Like right now, I started with episode 1, 2, and 3. I'm on episode 4 now, and I'm just rewatching these things. I'm like, wow, this is when I really loved Star Wars.
How long of a break do you have?
Well, I have two 15s and a 30, so I just watch it during for 15 minutes and stuff. Like I don't have like hour breaks. That'd be cool, but no.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I know I used to work a job with an hour long.
I wish.
That wouldn't work.
That'd be great, but then you wouldn't get paid for that. So no, never mind. I'm okay with the 30.
Yeah, didn't say I'm on 250 or I'm on 210s and 30.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah.
Yeah.
But folks, honestly, I think that's kind of where we can leave it.
It's a perfect place to leave it.
Yeah, we of course we had a lot more.
Yeah.
Invasion of Pabu, you know.
Did the stormtroopers leave? Oh, actually, thinking about that, I don't even think the stormtroopers left. All we know is that the shadow guy left with Omega. So I'm assuming what's going to happen with all the stormtroopers now?
That's a very fair point, and I know that's something I've thought about.
I just thought about that right now. I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that.
No, I'm glad you brought it up, because something to point out about that is I actually do think the Empire was pulling off of that world, which makes no sense. This is an entire, almost the entire population of the planet that is completely undocumented. And that was one of my favorite details about that, when they were going, where are they? You know, these guys don't have identification codes. They came to Pabu to not have identification. So it wouldn't make sense that they just leave this planet of literally listed criminals.
Yeah.
You know, and not do something about it. So it makes me wonder how are they going to get off planet, which I think I know. Again, this is a bit more insider knowledge. It's got some trailer footage, but
it's gonna be.
I have a theory. I don't want to say because I feel like I have a pretty good idea of how they're doing.
We're gonna talk. We'll talk about it next episode. And for everyone, I know this one is off. We will have it back on Mondays again. It's just yesterday, guys. I had stuff going on. My mom's birthday was yesterday, and I completely forgot about it. I've just been so busy, so I just spent the day with my mom and took her out to eat and stuff. So that's why we didn't have the show. But yeah, so we'll be back on Monday again with episode 12, Juggernaut.
Episode 12, Juggernaut.
Yep, which will be fun. That will be
very fun.
We'll see how they get off planet. What's gonna happen? Is the planet doomed now? Is it gonna be enslavement to the Empire?
Oh, it's
maybe.
Absolutely gonna be enslaved to the Empire. Absolutely. This is gonna be one of the. Okay, another fun little thing to prod at. Could you imagine if Pabu always existed in Star Wars lore? But here's the real kicker. With Pabu having such a limited population, imagine if they had just nuked the island, made it nothing but a few islands, and now it's not Pabu, it's Scarif.
That'd be interesting.
Just turn the planet into a planet.
Desert.
You know? What? Scarif wasn't a desert.
No, Scarif. Okay, I'm thinking of a different planet then.
I think you're thinking of Jeddah, where Saw dies.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
No, Scarif is where they did the final battle of Rogue One, with all the different islands, where it's the location for the research and planning of the Death Star.
That'd be interesting. That'd be kind of cool.
Just a whole bunch of little islands.
That would be kind of cool.
That was probably the most, island-style planet aside from Pabu now.
That'd be interesting.
But yeah, no, imagine the Empire just takes over Pabu. They find a thing of islands. They're like, you know what? what even is a Pabu? And just rename it Scarif for whatever reason.
Pabu, Babu, whatever it is, it's ours now.
Ours?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Empire.
Guys, you heard it here first, folks. He's with the Empire.
I'm
Screw him over.
not.
You just said it's ours. No.
It's ours. We got him. I don't know. I'm guessing Pabu, they probably have. I don't think they ever said what kind of like resources they have, except I'm assuming fishing and stuff like that.
Fishing is definitely what it's for.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Giant krakens.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Big fish. Huge fish.
Yep.
Think of Jar Jar in episode 1 where they're underwater. Good times. I love Jar Jar. I know everyone hates him, but I love him. It's so funny. But yes.
Yeah, you guys can unsubscribe for that. I don't blame you.
It's okay. But he was the whole reason that Chancellor actually took over the Senate, technically. He was the one that pushed for the Chancellor to have emergency powers. He literally was. So in technicality, he was technically the one that gave the Chancellor all the power. Oh man, it's kind of funny when you watch those movies and then you think about it, like, wow, you know, like. But he was just doing what Padme told him to do. He's told him to do what he thought she would do. So, you know, and Padme would do that, even though she didn't know what who the Chancellor was and how horrible he was until like it was too late, you know. Because everyone's like, yeah, let's go with the Chancellor. Let's kill the Jedi. And because they betrayed everybody. And we're like, Padme's like, this isn't good. This is bad. And everyone's like, yeah. You know how it is. It's like when you're in a crowd with people and somebody starts saying something and you want to be included with it. It's there's a name for it. It's like I call it. I just call it crowd syndrome. You kind of you join in with the crowd, not really thinking about what's happening or any of that. Yeah. So.
Or mob mentality.
Yes, mob mentality. This is how democracy dies in thunders of applause. Sorry, I had to throw in a quote.
It's a great quote.
It is a great quote.
The actual shit.
Oh yeah, I know.
But yeah. Anyway, folks, I think that is kind of where we can call it tonight.
Yep, we're gonna call it here.
Well, a little bit early. I know we've been kind of on the 2-hour track, but I think we are good for this week.
Yeah, we'll join you. We'll see you guys next week. See you guys later.
Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful week, and make sure to catch the episode tomorrow. Okay, the Bad Batch episode. We'll see you on Monday.
We're gonna okay, next episode before we go. I think we should try to talk a little bit about the Empire series too.
We could.
Because that
we'll see. Otherwise, shit. Actually, one more thing. I wanted to ask you earlier.
Yes.
On double check calendar.
Yeah.
Because ooh. Let's see. We've got next week's episode.
Yes.
Well, so we got 12, we got 13, we got 15. Episode 15
will be on
May 1st.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Which means our podcast for the finale will be more than likely.
Yes.
But Tales of the Empire kicks off that Saturday on May 4th.
Ooh.
And I'm super excited for that because it's a double feature for me because My Hero returned. Hell yeah. So, that could also be something else we can go over is possibly doing a early one for that finale, picking up Tales of the Empire on Monday and continuing our Monday series, which could be great, you know, end of the weekend, come right back to it. I could just talk about it because I'm not gonna lie, I am actually I'm pretty excited. I'm actually gonna say I'm more excited about this series or the Empire series than the Bad Batch. To be honest, I don't blame you because it's just again, it's a character we don't know what happened to.
Yeah.
That's what holds all my attention.
And it's
not
interesting.
That Bad Batch isn't that way. It's just I feel like we know how the story's gonna end.
Yeah.
To a degree.
I'm very excited to see how she kind of plays into the whole thing with everything happening and where she ends up, because we don't know. We have no idea where she's going to end up with the whole thing.
Well,
and she's a very interesting character too. So.
Oh yeah. Plus, I think this is going to be the rise of the Inquisitorius, which is going to be the most interesting part of it. I know I've also seen some fan theories about Barriss possibly being, was it the 11th? Which is the one who plays. She plays in Star Wars Rebels. She is played by Freddie Prinze Jr., Kanan's actual wife in real life, who played Daphne in the live-action Scooby-Doo, with him as live-action Freddy Scooby-Doo. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. I did not know that.
I can't remember her name. Yeah,
Interesting.
She's voice. Yeah, so whenever they have dialogue with each other, like talking shit, because he's a Jedi and she's an Inquisitor, that's just husband and wife just like bickering at each other.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so, but no, there's a lot of theory as to whether or not that was Barriss, but she died to Maul, and Ahsoka was there. I feel like Ahsoka would have recognized.
Yeah, that would.
Now that I think about it.
Thinking about it, yeah.
That's a killer.
My only fear with that series is I hope she doesn't. If she's gonna go down that dark path, I just hope it's not that she changes her mind. Or
right.
If she does, make it very.
No, she needs to stay committed.
Yeah.
She needs to stay committed.
That's what I'm afraid of, is that they're going to be like, hey, she's a good person. It's like, no.
Yeah. I'd rather she be an Imperial.
Yeah. Or if she does evil and she doesn't want to be with the Empire, I'm okay with that too, but...
Sorry, she doesn't want to be a what?
Like, she doesn't want to be with the Empire. Like, but she still needs to be evil. I just don't want her to be like, I'm good, I'm leaving the Empire. Like, if she wants to be like a Saz Ventress, where she's just doing her own thing. But
Was I the only one who heard this man say, I hope she doesn't want to be a vampire?
Well, maybe she is. We don't know.
No, stop.
Are there vampires in the Star Wars universe? I don't know.
No.
No, we don't need that. We do not need vampires in the Star Wars universe.
No, we do not need vampires. But yeah, no, well, folks, I think that's one of the things that we can do. Let us know your thoughts on whether or not you want us to pick up Tales of the Empire, potentially, because again, it's great timing. We do bleed right into it.
Which is fantastic.
Bad Batch finale 4 days later than being Tales of the Empire.
Oh yeah.
Which timeline-wise could be our next answer if we have any answer or any questions with Bad Batch. So
I guess that's another question. We don't even know, we know kind of where it's placed, but we don't know where it's placed compared to Bad Batch.
That's true. It looks a little fresher, so maybe we've been wrong about the whole Inquisitor thing being.
Maybe it is like what you said, where it just picks up right where
it could be right after Bad Batch.
Yeah.
The Inquisitor program's in line.
So
I do want to say though, it's gonna be one of my favorite things. I cannot wait for, and I hope it happens in that series. I hope Barriss gets to confront Vader. Only for the fact that I wonder if Anakin will recognize Barriss. Like, he had that whole moment in the Obi-Wan series where he's like, did you think I would not realize, youngling? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder if he's going to do something like that with Barriss. That'd be cool. I think that'd be a really cool way to even, kill her character off. Like, I don't want to repeat that storyline, I don't want Reva again.
Yeah, Reva. Oh, my God.
I don't want... But I do. Because I think Barriss can do it better.
I think she
then
could, to
Evo
be honest.
could. Yeah. So.
I have more faith in this series. Maybe it's just because it's animated. No offense, their animated series seem to do better than their live action ones lately.
Than Kenobi.
Let's not talk about Kenobi.
We gotta talk about it. But no, anyway, in all fairness, folks, I think this is where we can kind of leave it today.
Yes. For real this time. I know we've said, yep, we're going to end it. And then we're like, hey, this theory. And you're like, whoa, holy shoot. But yeah. Yeah. yes. 10 times the charm. Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tales of the Empire looks promising.
Yes.
So I'm hoping it can deliver. I'm hoping it's not. I hope it's not just a flip like they did with Star. Thinking about it, like Star Wars Battlefront 2's campaign. That was horrible for VA. Horrible. Oh my god.
I think it's a good story. The game didn't do great.
The story was interesting, but it like I like the premise.
And we're back.
Yeah, let me stop. We're gonna be at this for hours if I keep going. I'm just finding similarities in other Star Wars stuff. So yes, we'll see you guys Monday. See you guys later.
Bye bye.